Hi, everybody. I thought I would give you a One Book July update, and it's now going to turn into my conclusion as well, because I have just not done well this month at all. I'm just going to be honest, like I always am, and just say that July was a really, really rough month. So I got on here originally and said that I wasn't going to do the original One Book July version, which is one book, one pen. My system was going really well. I loved all my planners. I didn't want to mess things up, blah, blah, blah. And then July 1st hit, and I ended up getting rid of every single one of my other planners, every one. I know this is shocking to me too, and also all of my journals. Like, I literally did go down to one book. It was interesting because as I was watching everybody's updates, it seemed like the trend was as each week went by, either one or multiple people would just say like, I can't take this anymore. I've got to add in one of my planners. And I totally get that. But for me, this year, I had the complete opposite experience where I had all of mine. I wasn't going to do it. And then July 1st hit, everything hit the fan. And I'm like, nope, I got to go to one book. And so I did end up picking my day designer because I literally was planning my days one day at a time and 1 hour at a time. And so it just ended up working out really well. I'll do a more in-depth look at this later, but I do, as you can see, have a bookmark here and I have a couple pens now. I do like to change out my pens monthly, so I've got a green pen for August, but this is the pen that I was using. This is the Sakura Glaze. By far the worst pen I've ever used in my life. I'm not kidding about that, and that's saying a lot because you guys know how many pens I have. I'm a kind of a pen freak. I'm not an artist, so maybe I'm missing something. I don't understand what the point of these pens are because as a writing implement, they are just horrific. So it's a gel pen, but with the glaze, it kind of has like an epoxy feel to it. I know I'm going to try and show you, but an example right here, like I can run my finger over this and I can actually feel the ink, which I don't like as a gel ink. I don't know, that's just kind of odd. But it was very inconsistent. It would glob. Sometimes you couldn't even tell if it was an A, O, or an E or something like that. Sometimes the line was so thin you could barely see it. A lot of times you'll have to circle around to get a pen started. I don't mind that, but with this one, it was almost like performing brain surgery sometimes. It's like, there's a lot of ink in there. Why isn't it flowing? So lots of problems. Also, when I was writing at least every word or every sentence, there was just a lot of excess ink on here. I was constantly having to wipe it off. I mean, I had a sticky note just for that purpose. That's how bad it was. So the only good thing I can say about this pen is, as you can see, I've completely used it up, and that makes me really happy. Now I can throw it away. You can quote me on this. I will never buy these pens ever again. If you like them, I don't know what you're doing right, but I've tried everything. So that's my pen. So I was proud of myself for staying with the one pen and the one planner. So that was my original version with my day designer. And then I kind of made this up. I'm going to move this out of the way for a minute, but I kind of made up another version. So for me, the original version is kind of, I don't know if I said it or just thought it in my mind, but kind of like that, your nitty gritty plan for the day. I don't take this with me. And so this is my on the go setup. And I'm including this because I feel like this is really part of the One Book July spirit, where everything that I need on the go is in here. And I know I owe you a complete setup on this one, but I'm going to briefly just show you today. I have all of my financial system on the left-hand side, and then on the right-hand side with my Hobonichi weeks, I've got all of the planning that I need on the go, and I'll show you the pages in case you haven't seen those, but actually those are the note pages, just kidding. There we go. So this is the planner section where I've got my schedule on the left, and then I write notes on the right. That's either like sermon notes, or if I'm at the doctor's office, or just, I see a quote that I like or something. I really do use those, and then just more note pages in the back in case I need it. So this really has been a great system. I changed this out right before, it was like towards the end of June when I did this. So like I said, I made up my own on the go One Book July version because I think this is a good representation of that. And then last but not least, this is what I was originally going to work on with the version 2, which was my finance planner, and then I was doing a no spend with my husband. We were actually doing it for 6 weeks. And so we ended up starting that last week of June, and then we're going to go till the first week of August, which is right now. And again, I'll just be straight up because I think it's important to share the victories as well as the, I don't want to say failures, but there was nothing going on here. So my planner, there's nothing to show you. I didn't really make any good changes or anything. I'll show you what my intentions were. And I'll start with here. So this is where I usually put the goals for the month. And my thinking was, we're doing this huge no spend. We have this huge goal. And like, I need my financial game. Let's the holes that I have in my financial bag, let's close those up. Like let's just be super serious about this. So I started brainstorming some things that I could do personally, and then some things that I could do like either with my home or family or something like that. And then I started plugging them in, as you can see, that first week of June. So I had my little checklist stickers, as you can see, 4 checklists. And so I was like, every day I'm going to do like 4 things. I'm just going to pat myself on the back. I'm going to really focus. Well, as you can see, that was a complete failure. I checked off 1 thing. So it's a great idea, but just with the nature of things that were happening in July, it just wasn't good. It's just like, when your life is really busy and you decide that you're going to like declutter your entire house. I mean, it's not the right time. So that's just how my July ended up. So great idea. I still want to do this at some future time, but it did not work at all in July. And so there's another page that I can show you. Here's those Dave Ramsey quotes. And then this is what I was talking about. Sometimes I just do some random calculations and notes. And then here's just kind of where it stopped. I mean, I didn't even try after this. This is where I usually put my expenses for the month. And obviously, since we're doing a no spend, there weren't many. But with my no spends, you guys know I always do a last hurrah at the grocery store. I was going to go on this Monday, and it ended up just not working, and I kept putting it off. I ended up going on July 1st, that was good. I'm not kicking myself about that, because with the holidays here in America, we ended up having 3 dinners like right in a row with friends and family to celebrate. And so I probably would have ended up having to go to the grocery store again anyway, because those, like, 1 was planned, but the other 2 weren't. So anyway, I didn't end up going till July 1st to the grocery store. And then also, I'm going to bring this up because this is a complete rookie mistake. I am not happy with myself about this. I blame myself. Somebody asked me out to lunch. And you guys, okay, you probably have these situations in your life as well where you have people and you're like, it's going to be Dutch treat with certain people. Other people, you take turns paying. And so I mistakenly assumed that it was this person's turn to pay. And no, like, just no. So what am I going to do? We're in the middle of our meal. I'm not going to stand up and say, sorry, this isn't going to work. So I ended up having to pay, and it ended up being Dutch treat, which again was a surprise for this particular situation. So note to self, don't ever assume. And you just shouldn't put yourself in that position where it might even be a possibility when you're trying to do a no spend. Any other time would have been completely fine. But like I said, I'm really more upset with myself. I should have known better. The only good thing about that is that I did have a coupon for the particular place that we were at. But as far as our no spend is concerned, we have not met our goal. There were also a lot of other things that happened in July. Like, for instance, this was planned. We knew this, but my daughter and son-in-law moved cross country. He's going to start dental school. And so, of course, we are going to be there and support our children and help them. So we knew that was going to happen. I don't know of anyone who can move cross country or travel, for that matter, without spending anything. So we knew that we were going to have to spend a little bit. We did consider it a necessity. And so all I'm going to say about July as far as our no spend is we did the best we could. It was really, really rough. This is probably the roughest time we've ever had. We're used to being successful. This is not our first rodeo. We've done this multiple times, every single year. So I think it was just, sometimes life, that's all I can say, sometimes life. So what our current situation is now with our no spend, because I know some people are interested in that, is that we stopped the no spend as of this past weekend. And now we are doing what I'm calling a low spend. So we're still going to work on our goal and accomplish it and do the best that we can. But I don't know of anybody who can go, 10 solid weeks without going to the grocery store or buying anything. So that's where we're at, is that we're now in a low spend and still working on our goal. But, what can I say? It was rough. We did the best we could. The end. So anyway, thanks for watching, you guys, and I will talk to you again soon.